When you're faced with a possible bankruptcy, you're left with a difficult decision to make. Which can you handle better? The overwhelming stress of dealing with debt or accepting the fact that you need help? Well, help is out there, and how else can you possibly get out of the financial mess you found yourself in without ruining your good name or credit? Well, if your credit was that good to begin with, would you really be considering bankruptcy? However you personally answer that complex question, a bit of advice is to seek out a professional for help. You're not in it alone, but you must seek out the help because it will not come and find you. Ed Dechant is a trained professional to help make those decisions with you. It's true, if you're looking to put your financial burdens behind you and get a fresh start, then bankruptcy may be the right decision for you.
I think that if you find that you are not paying your credit cards off at the end of every month, you're in trouble. Credit cards is a very, very poor way to try and finance your lifestyle. My name is Ed Dechant, and I am a practicing bankruptcy attorney in Santa Rosa. I've been in the practice for 40 years, and I've helped thousands of people with financial problems. Many don't need bankruptcies, but some do. Now, bankruptcy is a federal law that allows individuals and businesses to restructure some of their obligations. Where it helps many people today is that it eliminates your credit card debt, and if you have a second mortgage on your house, in many instances we can have that removed in a bankruptcy proceeding. A lot of people are faced with real financial stress these days because one of the wage earners has lost their job, or sometimes there's a cutback in income. Many of us are living from paycheck to paycheck. When one of those paychecks disappears, we all of a sudden find ourselves behind. I've had people come to me that their credit card interest rate has increased to 56%, and that's just something that people can't afford to keep up with. Recently, there's been an increase in bankruptcy for a couple of reasons. One is in 2005, the bankruptcy law was changed, and a lot of people felt that they weren't allowed to file bankruptcy anymore. That's not the case. Most people weren't affected by the law that was changed in 2005, and the pressures on people to restructure their finances has just increased with people being laid off, people who had what we used to call 2 and 20 loans on their house. For 2 years they had artificially low prices that they paid on their mortgages were all of a sudden reset to an amount that they could not afford. They were told when they took out the loans on their house that they would be able to refinance into a fixed rate mortgage. That just didn't happen. Bankruptcy is not the answer to a lot of people's problems. I talk to people frequently that do have financial problems, but a bankruptcy isn't a solution. There's many people who there are ways to handle your obligations without filing a bankruptcy, and when I see that situation, I certainly suggest alternatives to bankruptcy. Some of the advantages of bankruptcy is that, as it's referenced, it gives you a fresh start. It's amazing how much more energy a person has when they realize that they are not fighting a battle that there's no way they can win. There are disadvantages in filing bankruptcy, there's no doubt about it. First of all, you can only do it once every 8 years. Secondly, it's on your credit record for 10 years. I've heard the question so many times, I wonder sometimes why there isn't some reference source that people could go to and say, hey, I'm in trouble, what are some of my options? And so I wrote a book called Bill Payer's Guide, How to Survive in the Recession. And in that book, I have addressed many of the questions that have been asked me over the last 40 years. I talk about bankruptcies, pros and cons. I talk about how to file a response to a lawsuit without hiring an attorney. There's information in the book about what to do if you've been laid off on your job, how to budget. This is really a family business. My son, who is fluent in Spanish, helps me with the Spanish-speaking client.
The Hispanic market has been hit particularly hard by the current financial situation. Well, we found over the course of many years that in the Hispanic market there's a lot of questions that people want to ask about bankruptcy. And we try and make it very easy for people to come in. There's no charge, they can talk to us, and it can become really easy to answer all of the questions that they have about bankruptcy and how it can help them.
If you'd like to give me a call, I'd love to talk to you. I do it at no charge. You want to talk to me about your finances, I'm happy to go over it with you. Just give me a call, and this is at no charge. I will look at your financial situation and give you my advice on how you can improve your financial situation.
Up next, for couples seeking a divorce, meet a practice that specializes in staying out of court. That's all coming up on the Bay Area's TV 50 Marketplace.